Tonight on Inside Glory, we count down to two massive world title fights. The time bomb is ticking in the super bantamweight division and a rematch that has everyone talking. And will the welterweight division get settled once and for all as the best?
I want the belt, of course.
Meets the Armenian machine. Plus, we deep dive with the Predator. Inside Glory is up next.
Welcome to Inside Glory from fabulous Las Vegas. That's right, I'm in Sin City, more specifically, right outside the brand new UFC Performance Institute, this state-of-the-art facility built right here in the fight capital of the world. Trust me, it is amazing. We'll show you other parts of it throughout the show. But why am I here, you're asking? Well, that's to announce a 3-year deal between Glory Kickboxing and UFC Fight Pass, which will air all of Glory's live events exclusively here in the United States. I speak for everyone at Glory Kickboxing that we couldn't be more excited to be pairing up with the world's premier MMA organization.
On this edition of Inside Glory, I'll be joined by my broadcast partner, Bazooka Joe, Josef, Volta, as we break down the two massive title fights taking place on Saturday, March 9th for Glory 64 from Strasbourg, France. In addition, we'll also look at the much-anticipated matchup between the number 1 and number 3 ranked welterweights as they headline the Glory Super Fight Series. But before we get to that, let's catch you up on our weight division recap. There was high drama in the super bantamweight division in 2018 as Glory 56 saw twice defending champion Anissa Meksen lose her title to JD Menezes in a controversial split decision win that left crowd and commentators stunned. Did we watch a completely different fight? I don't think she won one single round. No, A rematch was quickly convened, and at Glory 61 New York, Meksen vowed not to leave it to the judges. Anissa Meksen trying to get back what she feels was taken from her. And that's it. Meksen promised a KO, and she delivers in the second round. The featherweight division saw the dominance of ex-lightweight champion Robin van Roosmalen come to an end with a long-awaited rematch against Thailand's Pech Panamarung in a unification bout at Glory 59. With Van Roosmalen out of the frame, opportunity turned to another ex-champion, a resurgent Sergey Adamchuk, who challenged the new champ in the first event of 2019 in February. The rematch saw a slew of spectacular techniques, but the Ukrainian failed to control the flow of the fight, and it was a unanimous decision win for the defending champ. The lightweight division saw the complete dominance of another Thai, superstar Sidichai. With a 9-fight win streak, 6 successful defenses, and a record 4 this year, his win against Josh Johnson at Glory 61 New York cemented Sidichai's legacy as the lightweight king. 2018 began with a new welterweight champion, as Harut Grigorian avenged his controversial loss to Myrtle Grunhart at Glory 50 Chicago to claim the belt. He successfully defended against tricky newcomer Alim Nabiev at Glory 54, but there's one man in particular breathing down the Armenian's neck, motor-mouth Frenchman Cedric Doumbé. The two meet for the first time in Strasbourg in March for the title, alongside Grunhart and Nabiev once more vying for contention in this most competitive of divisions. In the middleweight division, Simon Marcus and Yusri Belgari lined up to take pot shots at Brazilian champion Alex Pereira. Both were dispatched in similar fashion, Belgari suffering 2 consecutive knockdowns and Marcus failing to convince the judges at Glory 58 Chicago. The light heavyweight division saw another year and another successful defense for reigning champion Artem Vahitov, as he took unanimous decision from Daniel Olunga at Glory 56 Denver. But the champion has been dogged by injury, and the division is in need of a worthy challenger in 2019. Could it be experienced Cape Verdean Luis Tavares? Returning to Glory with a win in December after a 5-year hiatus, he claims unfinished business with the Russian. And finally to the heavyweights and the undisputed king of kickboxing, Rico Verhoeven. 2018 saw him defend twice convincingly against Mladen Brstovac and most recently Brazilian Guto Innocent in front of a massive sellout crowd at Glory 59 Amsterdam. But with Jamal Ben Saddik claiming the Glory Tournament Championship at Glory 62.
And now Glory Heavyweight Tournament Champion.
Could the only man to rock Rico in 5 years be poised to take the crown? Time will tell.
Coming up next, we preview the main event of the Super Fight Series at Glory 64. You're watching Inside Glory from fabulous Las Vegas. Welcome back to Inside Glory. My name is Todd Grisham. One of the reasons Glory has become the world's premier stand-up fighting organization is its ability to mix different martial arts, including boxing, karate, taekwondo, and Muay Thai. As for the UFC, they fight in a cage with MMA rules and 5-minute rounds. Glory fights in a smaller ring with just 3-minute rounds, and if you go to the ground in our sport, the odds are you've just been knocked out. That said, we turn our fighter spotlight on one of the premier fighters in the world today, the #3 ranked welterweight, Myrtle Groenhart.
I have to show the fans, my audience, myself, that I can get the title back again.
Here is Myrtle, the Predator, Groenhart.
He still looks dazed, but he's throwing haymakers at the same time. This may be over soon, and it is over.
His name, Jiraiya, yeah, he made me angry and he made the best out of me. That's true, but now I'm closer to my strap, you know, I'm closer to my title, so I think this will motivate me too. I think this will motivate me even more because, you know, I can't lose from this guy. My next fight is in Strasbourg, Glory 64, 9 March. Against Ali Nabiev. I think it's a little bit like Static Doumbé, a little bit clowning and a little bit making fun of you, you know, in the ring when you're not paying attention. So, but it's a good guy. If it's a style that matches me, I think so, because it's a technical fighter, but he also comes to fight, you know. So I think it's a style that can match me. We have, I think, the same height also, you know. So it will be a nice fight, I think. This year, my goal is to be champion again, you know, to remain the title and get back where I was, you know, as a champion.
And new Glory welterweight champion of the world, Myrtle Groenhart.
I showed everybody that I'm the best, but I still, you know, have to stay there. I'm better than Nabiev because I can come from every angle. You have to be careful with me, you know, to the end of the round, to the end of the minute. I think I will be sharp as hell. When I'm sharp and I'm focused, yeah, you see a dangerous Murray. When you see me in that ring 9 March, I will be a hungry fighter. You know, I will be deadly, I will be hungry, and I'm aiming for that belt.
Time to get ready for France and Glory 64 Strasbourg. Joining me now, the former Glory welterweight champion of the world, Josef Leaney. Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year. It's been a while.
Yeah, I haven't seen you much. Let's talk about a non-title fight that sure feels like a title fight. Aleem Nabiev squaring off against Myrtle Groenhart. What was your reaction when you heard about this one?
I think the style matchup is what I like best about this fight, because Nabiev really prides himself on being this technical fighter. And what makes him so technical is you'll see him fight orthodox, he switches stances really well, and you know, height isn't going to be an advantage for Groenhart, which it is a lot of times where he gets to use his reach. So.
Yeah, they're both big welterweights.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a Nabiev trying to keep range, trying to keep his distance, stay long, play a technical, smart fight where Groenhart's got to come out there, he's got to go in pressure.
Who has the edge?
Well, I think experience-wise, you got to give it to Myrtle Grunhard. He's so unorthodox. All of a sudden, he's sitting in your face, he's being patient, then a flying knee comes out of nowhere, or he punches and attacks on different angles.
Landed a good uppercut there.
When it comes to punches, Grunhard will win this up. There's a left hook that sends Tong Chai down.
That's what Myrtle needed to do.
What? The Thai Terminator's down but not out as the Predator from Holland homes in.
Myrtle's utilizing the uppercuts and hooks.
Down he goes again.
But I think technically, you see it in Alim Nabiev. He's going to try to sit there, be a little bit more patient. He fights both stances. He's been training with Dennis Crowell, Rico Verhoeven's coach. So we're bringing a little bit more of a technical side out in him.
A lot of times, though, he'll like to dance and play and stick and move and have fun in there.
Tricky inside shots.
Yeah, he's getting comfortable now, mixing in his feints and taunting.
This is what he likes to do.
Can he afford to do that against Grunhard?
Well, it can be to his advantage and against him at the same time, because Grunhard is an emotional fighter. So by getting Grunhard going, it might make him open up and it might help him get those counter shots and get that knockout.
Yeah, you know, Jiraiya got under Grunhard's skin at the weigh-in. You could see Grunhard was like a man possessed.
We saw at Glory 59 Amsterdam what an angry Grunhard can do. We saw him go right after Mohamed Jiraiya and get an early finish.
He keeps coming, but another right hand connects. Jiraiya makers at the same time. This may be over soon, and it is over.
He can go down that road at his own peril. Can't wait to see what happens. That's Glory 64 Strasbourg. You got to believe the winner of this fight will face off for the title next. But up next, the super bantamweights prepare to do battle for a title of their own. From the UFC headquarters in Las Vegas, you're watching Inside Glory.
Saturday, March 9th, Glory 64 Strasbourg.
Anissa Mexen back on top. That is a knockdown. The champ is down here in round one.
Glory 64 Strasbourg, Saturday, March 9th. Check date and time in your area. Don't miss it.
Much more Inside Glory to come here from the UFC Performance Institute in Las Vegas. In fact, right now we're in the Ramon Dekkers room, which is named after the kickboxing legend. 183 all-time wins, 8 world titles. He died unexpectedly and tragically at the age of 43.
2 title fights take place at Glory 64 Strasbourg, and one everyone is talking about is the women's super bantamweight title between France's Anissa Mexen, the world's #1 stand-up fighter, facing the time bomb, Tiffany Van Soos.
And now, 2-time Glory Super Bantamweight Champion of the World, Anissa Mexen.
Watching Anissa walk around wearing my belt drives me crazy. You know, I was the first Glory Women's Champion, and so, you know, when I see that big white and gold belt, it doesn't sit well with me. So I'm coming to get what's mine.
Je me suis préparée comme jamais et je suis déterminée tout simplement comme jamais.
History is on the line here for the women's championship. The Brazilian is in huge trouble here. Look at her go. Anissa Mexen trying to get back what she feels was taken from her. She wants that finish. She's getting it. And that's it. And once again, Anissa Mexen back on top of the kickboxing world.
France, are you ready for glory?
Time to get ready for France and Glory 64. And joining me now, the former Glory welterweight champion of the world, Josef Volta. Not 1 but 2 world title fights, and the one at least I'm most looking forward to has to be the return of Tiffany Van Soos, trying to reclaim her former title as she takes on perhaps the greatest female kickboxer of all time, and Anissa Mexen. How's that one going to play out?
This is going to be a rematch from Glory 48 New York, and it was a close matchup, and you can't really say there was a dominant winner. I would say that Mexen had that slight edge. maybe she finished, you know, a little bit more, maybe had that left kick landing. But it was a close fight. Van Soest was a little upset with the decision, but wanted her chance a little bit quicker. So now she's had some time to kind of regroup, train a lot. So I'm expecting to see a different Van Soest.
The last time we saw Anissa Meksen, she put on perhaps the most dominant performance in women's super bantamweight history by knocking out JD Menezes.
There you have it, all three scoring that first round for Meksen.
Oh, look at that pressure. It was a left hook that did that damage.
And she's in trouble. She's looking for that knockout. Another big punch lands for the former champion Anissa Meksen.
Well, you're going to see how tough Johnny Menezes is.
Oh, and a body shot. The Brazilian is in huge trouble here. Look at her go. Anissa Meksen trying to get back what she feels was taken from her.
She wants that finish. She's getting it.
And that's it. Chris Wagner stops it. Meksen promised a KO, and she delivers in the second round. And once again, Anissa Meksen back on top of the kickboxing world.
That's a new style we've seen from her. Usually she's a lot more patient, a lot more technical, but she went right after the Brazilian. Do you think she fights Tiffany that way?
Well, I think it's going to be tough against Tiffany because Tiffany's so good with her movement. She describes her style as poetry in motion, so she's good at distance control, the way she moves, she attacks on angles. So I think Meksen's going to have to stay a little bit more patient, try to use some of her straight punches more, and I think a good weapon in her last fight was that left kick.
But for Tiffany, if Anissa does in fact up her pressure style, that helps the American, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for Van Soest, she got to use that footwork, get those angles, and get inside. We've seen in the past that, you know, Meksen has problems with people who kind of pressure her.
Yeah, and don't forget Meksen defending her title in her home country of France. You know she's excited about that. Coming up later here on Inside Glory, me and Joe will break down the welterweight championship of the world, also taking place at Glory 64 Strasbourg, as Cedric Doumbé challenges for the title against Harut Grigorian. We're not done yet. One of Glory's most anticipated title fights in some time will headline Glory 64. We'll have that preview when we return to Inside Glory.
Saturday, March 9th, Glory 64 Strasbourg.
Anissa Meksen back on top. That is a knockdown. The champ is down here in round one.
Glory 64 Strasbourg, Saturday, March 9th. Check date and time in your area. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to Inside Glory. We're at the UFC Institute in Las Vegas, and look who let us in. The former UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, Forrest Griffin. I understand.
We even have a ring in here just for you.
I'm excited about that. You've been in the ring, you've been in the cage, you've done it all, but you love Glory kickboxing. What is it about the sport that you like so much?
So one of the things is because, you know, you get slips and whatnot, you can try crazy spinning techniques that you wouldn't necessarily try in an MMA fight because you'd land on your butt and get beat up. So anything spinny and crazy.
And three-minute rounds.
Well, yeah, obviously. So for 9 minutes, it's actually hard to get tired in 9 minutes. So everything those guys throw is power.
You've seen a lot of fights. Who's your favorite Glory kickboxer?
Oh, I mean, I got to go with the easy answer, Rico. But that's only because I got to meet him, and he actually worked out right here. And when you meet him in person, you just realize that people come in different sizes, and he's size XL.
How about his thighs? I've never seen a man's thighs that big.
Well, that's the thing. That's you and men's thighs. Always with you, Todd, and men's thighs. But, yeah, he does have big legs. In fact, I was thinking, how would I fight that guy if I absolutely had to? My life depended on it. Well, I'd shoot a single, and then I was like, I'd shoot a single, I'd grab around his leg, and then I'd realize this is a very large man. Hey, just let's not fight.
Rico Verhoeven, of course, the current Glory heavyweight champion of the world. You're a UFC Hall of Famer. Thanks for the time for us.
Yeah.
And I know you're looking forward to March 9th, the welterweight championship of the world on the line. Cedric Doumbé taking on Harut Grigorian.
I'm excited.
Do-or-die mentality has made him popular with the fans, but will it make him a world champion? He gets a shot tonight. Stay center. Oh, and right hand connected. Hey, Bruhart is down. That is a knockdown. The champ is down here in round one. Bruhart's in survival mode right now. We may have a new champ in the making. Harut Grigorian hitting the champ. But it's Harut Grigorian who's the new welterweight champion of the world. He is knockout percentage of 69%. He is a terror.
Corner a world tournament champion who makes his first defense of the belt.
Gregorian doesn't back down, keeps slugging those big round punches over and over again.
And still welterweight champion of the world, the former welterweight champion of the world, Cedric Doumbé, turns to home soil to start his climb back to the welterweight throne.
Oh, and a right hand from Doumbé, right on the button, tongue ties down, and he may be out. It's over. Cedric Doumbé promised us a knockout, and he only took seconds to deliver it.
I want the belt, of course. I want the belt. Who is the guy who gets the belt? Harut, so I want Harut.
Nickname yourself the best. You want to fight the best. Alan Scheinson, he believes, is just a stepping stone towards another world title opportunity.
And a knee now from Doumbé. What a performance by Cedric Doumbé. All the shots up the middle were landing, whether they're uppercuts or knees. And the referee has stopped it.
Can you imagine if he fights like this against Harut Gregorian?
This is my belt, so I got my 10 belt. So Harut, you're the next.
Five rounds for the welterweight championship of the world.
Back with my broadcast partner, Josef Leaney, as we get set for Glory 64 Strasbourg. Earlier, we broke down the women's super bantamweight title match. Now we shift over to the men. Welterweight championship of the world. You know this division well. You used to be the champ. Harut Gregorian defending in France against Cedric Doumbé.
Yeah, right away, stylistically, this is what makes this fight really exciting. You know the fight that Harut Gregorian is going to bring. He's an amazing forward pressure fighter. He's going to try to get you against the ropes and unload the power shots. Where we have Cedric Doumbé now, who we saw two different styles on him. And I'm going to call it the Nicky Holtzkin Doumbé, which used a lot of footwork, angles.
Stick and move.
Stick and move, and he was very hard to hit, very evasive. Then we saw a different type of Doumbé where he got a knockout over Tong Chai. He ended up knocking out Alan Scheinson and had a dominant win over Jimmy Vigneault, and it was all from forward pressure. So we know he has the ability to fight both ways. Now, when you fight someone like Gregorian, the style of the stick and move tends to work better. So I plan on him mixing up the two. He's got to pressure when the opportunity presents itself, but I think the key is his movement in this fight.
It was interesting because we had heard a lot of criticism about Doumbé not getting finishes, not getting knockouts. Yeah. He got 2 knockouts back-to-back, and we said, is this going to be the new Doumbé? And he said, well, yes, unless I fight somebody like a Harut Gregorian. So he knows what he has to do as well.
Yeah, it's dangerous. You have to be really careful in mid-range, so the boxing, the hitting range. I mean, when you fight someone with power, that's the range that's the most difficult. That's why we got to see Doumbé move, stick and move, and be evasive.
Well, if they both do what they do best, Gregorian, come right at you, throw bombs, Doumbé, stick and move. Who wins that fight?
Well, I think it might, at that point, come down to power. And I think the power advantage has to go to Harut Gregorian. His ability to get in there and to shut down that style works well. We saw it against Myrtle Grunhart. We thought Myrtle Grunhart's awkwardness, his ability to hit and move, knee on different angles was going to give Gregorian a problem, but he responded really well with a TKO finish there. So slight advantage going to Harut.
All right, from Texas to France, here we go, my friend. Can't wait to see you there. Always nice to talk kickboxing with you.
That's what I do best, my man.
Glory 64 comes your way live from Strasbourg, France. That'll do it for this edition of Inside Glory. I want to thank the UFC once again for having us out to their brand new Performance Institute here in Las Vegas. I'm Todd Grisham, and I'll see you in Strasbourg.
Oh!